Malcontents, this is really a story that I don't want to keep reporting on. And I spent another day pouring through 86 minutes of, quite frankly, absolutely horrific video to distill down 86 minutes into a story. Rochester, New York released 86 more minutes of body cam video, although it's a bit exaggerated that they released 86 more, because in watching that, there was redundant video of about the 15 or 20 minutes that they had released prior. So really, they released about an hour. Jennifer, I'm going to roll the warning clip because this is tough. But I think it's really important to show because, guess what? When you watch 86 minutes of body cam video from the Rochester police, their story doesn't add up anymore. And we're going to get into that, Jennifer. But with that, let me roll the warning. Roll the clip. After the warning, if you don't want to watch this, go walk away for about 2.5 minutes and come back. It's like 2:30 or 2:50.
Why did you call when you left for the car?
I called before. Yeah, I'm gonna show you.
What time did you call?
We were fighting, and I ended up calling 912 because
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I did call you guys
you okay?
before. Yeah, I'm fine. Like this shit right here, snitching and fighting and shit.
What's he got a warrant for? I didn't look him up yet.
Yeah, for this.
Okay.
Glad I didn't have to.
Yeah, pull up.
Mine fell on the ground.
She's got her. She's just like kicking everybody.
And then mom's trying to fight the people driving by.
I saw that.
She starts getting in on trying to fight them too. I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Officer, please don't do this to me.
You did it to yourself, hon.
I don't trust Officer.
He's not. I'm rolling the windows down so you can breathe.
Officer, I swear to God. Spray is burning my eyes.
Yep, that's the point of pepper spray. The ambulance is on their way and they will clear your eyes out.
Pepper spray is burning my eyes!
Can you just...
Get the pepper spray out of my eye first, please.
I can't.
I gotta run after your daughter. I gotta fight your daughter, and you're busy fighting with somebody in a van. What the heck's wrong with you? You apologize? No, I gotta do paperwork. Why?
Oh. I don't know where your dad is.
Can you call him?
In a little bit. It's there. I can see the ambulance right there.
Please, where are they?
They're coming. She just wants her dad. He's not here. She's suicidal. Do you have any diagnosis, hon? Medical or mental?
No.
No, not like.
Down and cooperate, okay?
Turn and have right there, honey. Okay. Good job.
They're gonna clean you up. They're gonna make it stop burning. You're gonna get to the hospital, get some help, and you're gonna be home probably in the next couple hours. All right?
Sound good?
Are you hurt?
No, my eyes.
Your eyes are burning. Okay.
I want my dad.
I'll call your dad on the way there.
You never.
She's not close to her mom, so she only wants to talk to her dad, but she doesn't have her dad's number. So.
We could probably look that up. Did she told you anything about why we're here? Did you tell your mom anything about you wanted to kill yourself today, or you didn't want to live it? Maybe you were just mad and just said it?
She just keeps saying that her mom's abusive.
Okay.
I just want my dad.
Okay, we're going to work on that, all right? All right.
You guys in my partner, because I'm going to be driving.
No. I'm just going to uncuff her.
She was asking you if you just do one.
Hey, you want me to hop in there?
I'm not.
Quinn text me 277, dangerous condition, Elmira Street, Upper Fall.
19 minutes. 19 minutes from the point of pepper sprayed to inside the ambulance and finally getting treated. And it took the EMTs advocating for her to get the handcuffs, which the EMTs were, these are too tight. The other thing that stands out in this video, mom never called about daughter in distress. And mom even says that. We have another clip on that. And mom certainly is not winning any Mom of the Year awards in this or any other lifetime. That's a whole separate friggin' issue. But mom called because the boyfriend, the ex-husband, it's never really clear. The significant other, we don't know if they're still in a relationship or out of the relationship. It's never really clear. But the significant other, the father of this 9-year-old's daughter, stole the mother's car. And that's why the police were called. The other thing that we've learned in that video is in all of this scene going on, there was a person that wandered up on the mother's porch and just and was in the middle of a drug overdose. Just some random person just to kind of throw a wrench into it. And guess who the firefighters went to treat first when they showed up?
Yeah. There's so much I know I was so torn between, especially we're going to show more, but I was so torn about the issues with the mother, the child, talking about some of the things that's going on, the fact that, that after they've treated her so poorly, which we saw in the first video, and then she's basically crying for help, they try to show her I guess the slightest bit of compassion, but it's, too little too late because the child's already traumatized. I wish we knew her name so I didn't have to call her the child because I don't like doing that. But yeah, there's so much, and I think we can talk about this more after we watch the rest of the clips that we have.
Yeah. This is just so hard to watch. And I see all the comments she's 9. Yes, she's 9.
Yes.
And we don't know her name because of privacy laws and because of actually the laws that dictate on streaming. Even if we knew her name, we couldn't say her name because she's under 13 without express written permission from all the parties involved. And so we can only refer to her as a child, but she does have a name. The other thing is, Jennifer, they don't know her name until minutes after she's pepper sprayed. And that's where, in a couple of those video clips, we hear conversations and it's been muted out. It's because they're saying her name out of the risks and privacies of a child, a 9-year-old child in all of this. Don't forget, this was a 9-year-old child. Who, by the way...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Never apparently threatened by mom's account and by the body camera and the 911 calls, never said her daughter was suicidal.
Yeah, no. And I think, we, like I said, we can elaborate a little bit more and unpack this a little bit more after the rest of the clips, but it's so problematic. If people remember when we showed the initial clips from Rochester, they made no effort to learn this child's name. And the fact that they waited so long to even try and get her name out of her, because, if you remember in the first video, there's officers standing outside the car and they're like, what's her name? They're like, we don't know. They don't even bother to leave inside the car and ask her. There's so much troubling about this. This video is going to haunt me for a little while this evening.
It is. And back to Mom of the Year, because we saw mom assault her child and the police let her do it and the police didn't do anything about it. We saw that. And you can go back to the original story. It's on malcontentnews.com. So you can go to malcontentnews.com. You can do a search for Malcontent News for Rochester because that story is way down there now. But you can do a search for Rochester. It'll come up there. But mom is suing. And so let's play the clip.
Changing.
Yes.
Elva Pope spoke out at her lawyer's office about the episode, which she says traumatized her 9-year-old daughter.
She feels like, that she got me in trouble. She feels so bad for that, and I had to explain to my baby, you're not in trouble. You're not the bad guy. You had a mistake, and it's okay to have a mistake.
Body camera video of the incident last Friday has touched off outrage. Pope says she called police after an argument in which her ex-boyfriend took off in her car. But after police got there, she alerted them her daughter had run off.
And I'm like, sir, we need a mental health. I think my daughter is about to have a meltdown. He just disregarded me, like he didn't care.
What happened next is now the focus of a lawsuit against the city, as spelled out in a notice of claim which accuses police of infliction of emotional distress, assault, battery, excessive force, false arrest, and unlawful imprisonment. Police representatives acknowledged the police eventually handcuffed and then pepper sprayed the girl, trying to get her into a car. They say it was a chaotic situation in which the child and her mother became hard to handle, while the family says police didn't handle it properly.
If you can't handle a 9-year-old, you have no business being a police officer.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. I know, like, some of that footage where they're literally complaining about having to handle a 9-year-old child, and there's it was like laughable, but also horrifying at the same time.
Mom and the child became difficult to handle because you basically did, by the DMV-5, everything wrong, like everything wrong. Dr. and Mrs. Malcontent works at the trauma center here, and for irate, out of control patients, and they've had to have, because of the fungus issues over at Children's Hospital, they have had to have pediatric patients there when the operating rooms were closed. Pepper spraying resistant 9-year-old childs, not in the medical handbooks anywhere.
No.
I'm torn about mom suing. There's part of me that goes, yes, she absolutely should sue. She absolutely has a case. But mom is utterly gross in all of this. Mom had contributed to pouring gasoline on this fire. Jennifer, I got bad news. The story gets worse. Because the other thing in researching this story that we've learned is that mom, because I'm sitting here slagging her out, so I'm going to defend mom for a little bit here. Jennifer, mom asked for a mental health officer. She also asked for mental health services for her daughter, and it's on body cam. Interesting, Jennifer, not released in that drop of 86 minutes, though, where she was basically told, too bad, cry us a river, we're not getting anybody else here. So she specifically asked for a social worker to deal with her 9-year-old child, and they're like, no. And then she asked at the hospital for mental health services for her 9-year-old child, and they said, no.
Yeah, no, it's the whole thing is so troubling, from the way the mother acted to the way the child was treated by the police, to the account that followed up, and now everything that we're seeing on body cam that doesn't line up. It's entirely problematic. Back to accountability. This is a 9-year-old child. The way in which this child was treated, the way in which they deprived her of access to, mental health assistance, all of these things are so intensely problematic, especially when we get into talking about, and we show a little bit of the body cam stuff that came out of the Chad Wheeler arrest later, and parallel that with the way in which this 9-year-old child of color is treated. It is absolutely appalling.
Appalling is an understatement here.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've learned in watching that video, because there was one thing, although we don't have the hard evidence, but there were other people that did start to come out of their houses while this was going on. The police were trying to get statements. Nobody wanted to talk to them. Everybody that was out there was black. None of them trusted the officers. So what we have is we have a group of white officers coming into a black neighborhood, treating a 9-year-old child like a 30-year-old felony suspect.
Yeah.
And the worst part of all, only one is suspended without pay and only 2 others are suspended with pay with the ongoing investigation. And we've already been told they probably won't get fired or probably won't even get any significant punishment because of the way New York state law is written and because of the union contract they have in Rochester.
That's so disgusting. Absolutely
it is
disgusting.
Absolutely disgusting. And with that, we're at the half hour. We're going to do a little pause for the cause, and we're going to keep moving. Hi, Malcontents. I'm David, the Malcontent, and I'd like to talk to you for a moment about supporting independent media. When you support us, you help us bring the before, during, and after. You help us defend the First Amendment. You help us amplify BIPOC and LGBTQIA voices, and you help us hold leaderships at a local, state, and federal level accountable. None of this would be possible without support by viewers just like you. When you become a patron for as little as $5 a month, you help buy technology, safety equipment, and help cover travel expenses so that we can continue to bring you news that you trust. If you can't become a patron, you can do a one-time donation on Venmo, and your dollars will go to the exact same causes. With your continued support, we can continue to amplify BIPOC and LGBTQIA voices while showing the truth on what is happening in the world around us. Once again, thank you. So Fairy Goddess 333, I saw your comment while we were on the break. The reason Mom didn't call for an ambulance is Mom never called for a mental health crisis about the daughter. It turns out that that's bullshit. Yeah. What she called about was that her prior significant other, the father of the daughter, had stolen her car, and he had a warrant out for his arrest for stealing the car before. And so she was calling the police, and they showed up because her car was stolen. And the body cam video does not support the initial police version of stories, nor the police positioning the child as suicidal as justification for their actions to basically everybody that they talked to after this engagement started in the first place. So that's what was going on there.